Hey there, everyone. This is the J-Man Show, man, coming at you with a brand new Mutant Turtle Ninja Raphael review. Hey man, it's the J-Man, and I've sobered up to bring you another episode review about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on Nickelodeon. We had a very interesting episode this week, and I'm anxious to talk about. So let's get into it. The Tale of Tiger Claw. This was an odd episode. At least I thought it was an odd episode. Yeah, odd. I was really looking forward to this one, as I really love Tiger Claw. I think he's one of the, in fact, I am going to say he is the greatest character created by Nickelodeon, a new character introduced in this universe of Ninja Turtles, and I hope in the future Ninja Turtles that he keeps reoccurring. So I really love Tiger Claw, and I've been anxiously awaiting his story ever since we first got introduced to him, when he says that his tail was cut off by a rival. How did that happen? And now we finally get a story about it, and it was a very weird way to say it. With this episode, I felt a lack of content. It was lacking, yet I also felt an overload of content, just overpowered. It was weird. And so there's many interesting points that came up in this episode. It's just a lot of stuff thrown at us. Karai is hanging out with Shinigami and the Mutanimals. They're hanging out together. They're not with the Turtles. Leo and Mikey have a conversation about that. Stockman is close to perfecting the mutagen for Super Shredder. We learn about that. The Turtles have graduated into the next level, or Dan, as I believe Master Splinter said it, of ninjutsu. There's a very interesting training montage, which we'll talk about in a minute. At the end of it, Master Splinter says, "You have learned all I can teach you. The only thing you can learn is wisdom." Interesting there. And of course, we get Tiger Claw's backstory and the introduction of Alopex, which is an awesome character. So let's talk about her. Alopex, a very interesting character indeed. She first appeared in the current running IDW comic book series. She is a white Arctic fox. In this series, she's more of a brown fox, also a mutant. In this series, Nickelodeon, she's super fast, so they've given her kind of an ability, a mutant ability. She's super fast, and she has a symbol on her head that I believe means with the wind, or like fast as the wind. So she's super fast. Cool that they did that. She is voiced by Minae Noji. I really hope I'm saying her name right. Who played Karai in the 2014 Michael Bay Turtles movie, and has also voiced Tang Shen in the current Nickelodeon series. She's an awesome Turtle fan, huge Turtle fan, and I'm looking forward to her coming back in future roles. So, Alopex, really cool introduction to her. Love the character, awesome. So like I said, a lot of interesting things happened in this episode. There's this subplot with Casey and he gets cursed, and then Alopex and Tiger Claw's backstory is part of this episode as well. Some of the stuff in this episode, wow, really intense. In fact, at the very end, when the final confrontation between Tiger Claw and Alopex, she cuts off his arm. Just cuts it off. She cut off his tail, now she cut off his arm. And, I mean, if she comes back, what's next? Is he going to turn into the Black Knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail? Just a tiger stump sitting there? In fact, there's some really cool action scenes in this episode. Another thing I liked about it, you know, Alopex is super fast. So there's a lot of little scenes where it's slowed down, and you see her go, like, slow-mo past, like, one of Tiger Claw's frozen bullets. There's this really cool panning scene with Casey running from all these things are about to happen to him. You know, Raphael jumps in front of him, Mikey spins him around, April stops some shuriken with her mind powers, and but the action, slow-mo action scenes of this were really cool. I really enjoyed that. The humor in this episode, too, was really interesting. Again, I felt myself laughing out loud at some parts. There was a really funny scene where Raphael makes a joke about, he's talking to Chompy, and he says, "Wow, Chompy, that Alopex is something else. But she's no Mona Lisa." Funny there, because Raphael is actually in a relationship with Alopex in the IDW comic book series. But in Nickelodeon, he's with Mona Lisa. And I see what you did there, Nickelodeon. Very funny. Raphael also calls Tiger Claw Tony at one point, like the Frosted Flakes mascot. That was pretty funny. Saying, was it Bebop saying that Tiger Claw needs to cut back on the catnip? That was pretty funny. Then there's this whole thing with a drunk Splinter. The opening scene has Master Splinter training with the Turtles, and instead of fighting with a sword, he pulls out like this gourd full of some liquid. Don't know what it is, but he drinks it, and strongly implied that whatever he's drinking is intoxicating him somehow. He's like moving around, and it's a funny scene. You know, he's battling with the Turtles, and they're all losing, and he's like, he's inebriated, is what it appears to be. And I know that the drunk master, the drunk teacher, is like a martial art form, but this seemed really weird. That brings me into some of the things I did not enjoy about this episode. That drunk Splinter scene was funny, but just, what? The whole purpose of it, at the very end we find out, was to teach the Turtles to hone their intuition. Is that really the best way to teach your students intuition, to drunk fight them? Drunk Splinter, funny, but I don't think it was necessary. Weird. I don't know. I don't think it was the right. I don't know. Besides the whole drunk Splinter thing, as I mentioned earlier in the video, this episode felt like it had a lot in it, yet it felt like it was lacking also. And it felt very rushed. I understand it's just a half-hour long episode, but there's so much packed in this episode, yet I still feel like it didn't give me enough. And I think it's because there's two kind of plot lines going along. There's Alopex with Tiger Claw and her backstory. Then there's Casey and this whole thing with the cursed blades. To me, those feel like they should have been two completely separate episodes, and that would have made them both really good episodes. First of all, this episode felt like it was way long overdue. Our introduction to Alopex and Tiger Claw's backstory, I think, should have happened way back in season 3, maybe. It felt long overdue, and then this is what we get, and it just, that seemed like take a back seat to this whole Casey and the Cursed Blade things, which is cool, but I think that should have been two separate stories, and I don't know, that's my opinion, and I felt disappointed. Like I said, I didn't get enough of Alopex. She's a really cool character. I was disappointed with how little we got of her, and I really hope she returns for season 5 to maybe cut off the rest of Tiger Claw's appendages and such. But other little things in this episode just irked me a little bit. The animation didn't seem that great, at least not on par with what we have been getting. The voices, the mouth movements seemed off. The action scenes were cool, but some of them were just, I don't know, animation didn't seem the best. And Casey Jones, he got a good episode last time. They're trying to redeem him, I feel like. But this one, again, being it should have been two separate episodes, didn't feel like I got enough out of Casey Jones either. So, the Tale of Tiger Claw. Somewhat disappointing episode. Disappointing introduction for Alopex, and finally the reveal of Tiger Claw's backstory. Just disappointing is what I felt like with this episode. With this unneeded subplot to do with Casey Jones and the Cursed Blades. but it did have some funny humor in it, some good slow-mo action, and it really made me want to see more of Alopex. So overall, I am going to say 65% a D. We are getting down to the final 2 episodes of Season 4. This coming Sunday and then following Sunday. And so next week's episode is called Requiem, Season 4, Episode 25, and the description reads, Splinter must lead the Turtles and the mighty Mutanimals on the hunt to defeat his old enemy. So I'm assuming the old enemy is Shredder. And so we get the Mutanimals in the next episode. I'm excited about that, love the Mutanimals. And maybe we'll finally get an answer to that age-old question, what happened to Pigeon Pete? Thank you guys for watching my episode review. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and check out my other episode reviews. So, until next time, I'm the J-Man Turtle Man saying, Cowabunga!